Kunda Vihari Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimati Divine Grace Abhay Charanaaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanaतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की। Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We are reciting from 4th canto, 18th chapter, text number 12. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupatihi vatsam kritva manum panav aduhat sakalaushadhihi. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupatihi vatsam kritva manum panav aduhat sakalaushadhihi. It's not clear? Fonts, make it bigger. Pamanam pana aduhat sakalaushadhihi. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupatihi vatsam kritva manum pana aduhat sakalaushadhihi. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupatihi vatsam kritva manum pana aduhat sakalaushadhihi. Matajis. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupatihi matsam kritva manum pana aduhat sakalaushadhi. Iti, thus, priyam, pleasing, hitam, beneficial, vakyam, words, bhuvaha, of the earth, adaya, taking into consideration, bhupatihi, the king, vatsam, calf, kritva, making, manum, swayambhu manu, panav, in his hands, aduhat, milked, sakala, all, oshadhihi, herbs and grains. Translation: After hearing the auspicious and pleasing words of the planet Earth, the king accepted them. He then transformed Swayambhu Manu into a calf and milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in his cupped hands. Tata pare cha sarvatra saram adadate buddhaha tatonye cha yatha kamam duduhu pratubhavitam. Others who were as intelligent as King Pruthu also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow in the footsteps of King Pruthu and get whatever he desired from the planet Earth. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Sri Prabhupada ki. The planet Earth is also called Vasundhara. The word Vasu means wealth, Dhara means one who holds. All creatures within the earth fulfill the necessities required for human beings, and all other living entities can be taken out of the earth by the proper means. As suggested by the planet Earth and accepted and initiated by King Pruthu, whatever is taken from the earth, either from the mines, from the surface of the globe, or from the atmosphere, should always be considered the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and should be used for yagna. Lord Vishnu. As soon as the process of yagna is stopped, the earth will withhold all productions, vegetables, trees, plants, fruits, flowers, and other agricultural products and minerals. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the process of yagna was instituted from the beginning of creation. By the regular performance of yagna, please, this is a very important sentence, you all can repeat after me. By the regular performance of yagna, the equal distribution of wealth, and the restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. Such a beautiful statement, isn't it? So, three things Prabhupada says. The regular performance of yagna, that means Lord is in control. He is a yajnapati. He is the dharapati, shriyapati, Sattvathampati. He is the master, we are all servants. So we have no control. We have minute control. He is in full control. So he is, that is, performing regular performance of yajna for his pleasure. An equal distribution of wealth means no greed. Not that the rich become richer, poor become poorer. We should distribute wealth equally. This is actually communism, but keeping Lord in the center and doing yajna means spiritual communism. What that was? Isha vasamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjitha magradakasya siddhanam. That's the verse. Spiritual communism. So the equal distribution of wealth. And the third one, he says, restriction of sense gratification. This means restricting lust. Because sense gratification is atmendriya priti vancha tare bali kam. Krishnendriya priti chadhare premanam. It is said. When we try to satisfy our own senses unrestrictedly, that's called kam. And when we engage our senses in Lord's service, it is called prem. So that means these three things are talking about lust, anger, and greed. You will see that. Restriction of sense gratification means restricting lust and purifying our heart and turning it into love. Equal distribution of wealth means not having greed. Rather, instead of one man becoming a billionaire and possessing everything, all wealth should be distributed for the welfare of all living entities, for their needs and everything. And similarly, by regular performance of yajna, we don't put ourselves in the center. Like Durvasa Muni was thinking, I am the center and everyone should be at my beck and call. And if Ambarish Maharaj won't do what I want him to do, I will kill him with a demon. So that's a controlling mentality. But when we put Lord in the center, we give up the controlling mentality. Like once my spiritual master said in one class, he said, we are not the root of the tree, we are a leaf in the tree, he said. So every leader should think himself to be like a leaf in the tree, he said. I am one of the leaves, there are millions of leaves in a tree. Not that I am the root. Who is the root? Krishna is the root. So that's the meaning of regular performance of yagna for Lord's pleasure. So keeping the Lord in the center, like Prahlad was keeping Lord in the center. Hiranyakashipu was keeping himself in the center, isn't it? Mm. You can see that Akurura was in the same palace of Kamsa, but he was always keeping Krishna in the center of his life. Whereas Kamsa thought, I am the center of uh, everything. Self-importance, self-righteousness, selfishness, I, me, mine culture. Huh? And if we have to give up that, then we have to perform yajna for the pleasure of the Lord. And performance of yajna is not that you have to have a yajna kund, swaha, that's what is yajna. Most people think about. Yajna actually means yajna by Vishnu. That which is done for the pleasure of God is called yajna. As simple as that. If somebody brings a flower and offers to the Lord and bows down, that is yajna, actually. Somebody brings some fruits and offers to the Lord and bows down, thanking the Lord gratefully, that is yajna. Yeah. The same manner, somebody is doing job and earning some money, purchasing some Bhagavad Gitas and distributes, that is also yajna. Whatever you possess, or somebody sings sweetly, they come and sing for the pleasure of the deities, that is also yajna. Anything done for pleasing the Lord with a pure intention, without any motivation and return, that is actually yajna. Of course, you get something in return. For example, the Brahmanas also perform yajna, but their motivation is purification of heart and pleasing the Lord. That's the goal. That is actually the purest goal one can anticipate, is to please the Lord. And other people have fruity mentality. Somebody may think that, if I do this for God, and I will give some fruits and flowers and I will get some bungalows and cars in return. That kind of mentality is business mentality. So these three things, we'll repeat again. By the regular performance of yajna, the equal distribution of wealth, and the restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. So what is this restriction of sense gratification? Prabhupada says it is following four regulative principles that he will say now as the head, you can see below here. As already mentioned, in this age of Kali, the simple performance of Sankirtana Yagna, the holding of festivals as initiated by International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, should be introduced in every town and village. This is actually the duty of Grihasthas. Because, how am I saying that? Because I read it in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In that there is a word which comes that there should be performance of yajna. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, in the Kali Yuga, for grihasthas to spend money for huge yajnas is difficult. But they can organize this simple yajna called Sankirtan yajna. They should invite the devotees to their area, wherever housing colony they are living, and then put up a Sankirtan yajna, which means simply singing the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So, arrange for the Sankirtan yajna, and then after the Sankirtan is done, distribute some prasadam, little bit. So, grihasthas can make some little prasad. What do you call it? Donna prasad, isn't it? Small drone. And distribute some books of Prabhupada, purchase some books. And if you give freely in India, anybody will accept anything free. As long as you don't ask them for money. 10 books, 10 rupee books, keep some 100, 200 books with you, distribute Prabhupada's books, distribute some prasadam, distribute some temple cards with a beautiful photo of Radha Madan Mohan, give it to everybody, and put up a kirtan. Imagine if every grihastha says, monthly once we will put up kirtan in our colony. Monthly once, is it a big deal? 1 hour, half an hour. So, and then devotees from different areas can go to those colonies, and we can have, imagine if every congregation member does that, we'll have 1,000 Sankirtan, program in 1 month. If 1,000 people do, just half an hour, 1 hour, it's not a very, you need the heart to do that, that's all. Rishikirti Prabhu will be ready to go for all of them, if you tell him, isn't it? So, that's what he is saying. Intelligent men should encourage the performance of Sankirtan Yajna by their personal behavior. Personal behavior means do it practically. Don't just only theorize it. Theorizing means what? in lecture we can say we should do Sankirtana yagna, but if we ourselves don't participate, then what kind of preaching is that? It will be cheating. So therefore we should participate ourselves. This means that they should follow the process of austerity by restricting themselves from illicit sex, life, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. This is the meaning of restricting sense gratification. That means these are the austerities. No illicit sex means no sex before marriage or no sex outside marriage. We are living in Kali Yuga where, boys and girls are connecting freely nowadays, like America and India also, due to which improper, promiscuous relationships develop. And then when parents don't allow them to marry, somebody commits suicide, somebody becomes broken-hearted, and then they marry some other partner. So the life is completely spoiled in Kali Yuga. And after marriage, also people, because of lack of spiritual knowledge, lack of awareness of Krishna consciousness, many of them fight like cats and dogs and separate also. They diverse and separate. Otherwise, they keep changing partners like cats and dogs. When I traveled to the West, I came to know in some of the families, they have changed a dozen partners. So it's just like cats and dogs. You can't live with one partner lifelong as a husband, wife. I have seen my mother and father. My father was 84, mother was 80. Even in that age, they were smiling very cheerfully. What happy family they had, because it was a God-centered family, Krishna-centered family. Actually, there is no bodily beauty to be attracted to each other at the age of 84 or 80. But they were attracted to each other's good qualities and character and devotion. So, therefore, no illicit sex life means no sex before marriage and no sex outside marriage. And similarly, no meat eating means one should not eat fish, meat or eggs. Prabhupada specifically says these three things because one should not cause any harm to other innocent creatures. So many of the boys told me that they never knew this. It is sinful. Once they learnt about soul and body difference, they understood that in a fish's body or a cock's body, also there is a soul. One should feel pity for the other living beings. And no gambling, because gambling brings quick money or you lose all the money. And then one becomes a thief, one becomes a cheater, one becomes a robber. So one should give up this. And also it increases anxieties in life. And no intoxication means no smoking, drinking, drugs, or any type of beer or rum and all those things. One should give up all those things. So one should keep body and mind clean. Then one can practice spiritual level nicely. So even in the Western world, Prabhupada introduced these things very confidently, and he succeeded also. And then Prabhupada says, if the intelligent men or the brahmanas of society would follow the rules and regulations, certainly the entire face of this present world, which is in such chaotic condition, would change and people would be happy and prosperous, he says. So, many people claim to be intelligent and educated. They should follow these things. So I'll show you, following this verse, you will find, Pruthu and others, how they milked. You will find this. Here it is said, Pruthu Maharaj, he put Swayambhu Manu in the front. He became the calf. And what did he milk? The plants. The plants and trees and herbs and all those things. And let us see one by one, who milked what? The sages, they put Brihaspati in the front. Why? Because Brihaspati is one of the foremost sages. He is the chief of he's the guru of the demigods, including Indra. So therefore they put him in the front and they extracted the Vedic verses. And with their ears, they received it in the ears. So the senses became the pot where they received by oral reception. And the Devatas, they put Indra in the front. Why? Because Indra is the head of the Devatas. They put him in the front. And then they extracted Soma. And for keeping Soma juice, they brought a golden pot. So, and the Daityas means Asuras. Who is the best of the Asuras, amongst the Asuras? Prahlad. There is nobody like Prahlad. Very rare. Of course, Bali Maharaj followed Prahlad. Prahlad is a great soul. So everybody knew if you have to please God, we have to put somebody who is liked by him. So therefore they put whom? Prahlad in the front. Similarly, Devatas knew that amongst the Devatas, who is the chief, who is representing all the Devatas to the Lord? Indra. Therefore they put Indra in the front. See, this is not a new thing for all of us also. We know if you have to accomplish some goal, you find out how to get a recommendation. Correct, no? Then you take somebody you take to reduce the fee, tuition fee, you take somebody with you and say, please kindly tell them to reduce. And then if he is known to the tuition teacher, because of the connection, he will reduce the tuition fee for you. Correct, no? You put somebody in the front who is liked by that other person. Like Indra, after the Govardhan Leela, he wanted to seek forgiveness from Lord Krishna. Correct, no? So did he go alone? He went with whom? Huh? Surabhi cow. Why he went with Surabhi cow? To bow down to Krishna and say sorry to him. Because so Surabhi cow are very dear to Krishna. As soon as Krishna saw Surabhi cow, his heart became softened. Then Indra showed up. I am also here with Surabhi cow. Please forgive me. The whole idea is to melt Krishna's heart. And then when he is having a compassionate disposition, you show your face and then you get forgiveness. And that is the whole idea. You put somebody in the front who is dear to the Lord. See, there is a big difference between soma juice and liquor, you can see. See, soma juice is caught in the golden part, whereas liquor is caught in the iron part. That goes to show quality. Some people think that Shastras talk about Devatas drinking soma juice. Is it a liquor? Prabhupada explains, soma juice is not liquor. If you read Bhagavad Gita, Traividyamam soma paputa papa yagna rishtva swargatim prartayante te punyamasadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan te tvam bhuktva swarga lokam vishalam kshine punye matya lokam vishalti evam trayi dharmamanu prapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. In those two verses, first verse he says, Traividyamam somapa puta papa. He says, puta means purify. If you drink soma juice, it will purify you. If you drink liquor, it will putrefy you. It's just the opposite effect. In this world, if you drink liquor, you lose your control. You fall on the ground, or you talk, you blabber anything as if you're a strong man. Even a small boy comes and touches you, will fall down. You lose all your strength and balance if you drink liquor. But if you drink soma juice, you become purified. That's why he is saying, Traividyamam somapa puta papa. It's a purifying beverage. Just like we drink milk or we drink fruit juices. Soma juice is like that. It nourishes the body and intelligence and mind, and it increases lifespan. Many things, benefits are said. So the Devatas are given that soma juice in a golden pot. Whereas the Asuras, they are fond of liquor, that's given in an iron pot. And the Gandharvas and Apsaras, what did they want? Because they are singers. They want raga, tala, swara, those things they want. So they put Vishwavasu, who is their leader, in the front. And they received it in a lotus. Sweet songs and melodies. And you see, we say Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. You say, correct, no? It's called as lotus voices. We say, why Guru's voice is called as a lotus voice? Because it is divine. It is spiritual. It is coming from the spiritual world. It is Shabda Brahma. So it's called lotus voices. Otherwise, the voice of the common people talking about the movie party and talking about politics, talking about sports, talking about cinema actors and actresses, that is like the crow's voice. The example is given of a crow's voice. Whereas the voice about Krishna or voice and glorification of Krishna, because Gandharvas and Apsaras, they glorify the Lord with their singing ability and dancing ability. So therefore the lotus, they're receiving in the lotus sweet songs, putting Vishwavasu. You see, you will always observe that in a big company there is a CEO, or in a department there is a HOD. He represents the department. Whenever you want some favors for your department, you will put HOD in the front. And then he will represent your department and make a request from the company for some sanction or something. Similarly, everybody is putting the leader in the front. And the Pitrus put Ariyama, and with unbaked clay pot, they got kavyam. Kavyam is actually one type of food. It is offered for the Pitrus. And also Siddhas. They, in the sky, they received the Ashtasiddhis with Kapila in the front. Vidyadharas also putting Kapila in the front, they got the knowledge of flying in the sky. So these are all powers they received. Because Kapila is the leader of Sankhya. So they put him in the front. And then the Kim Purushas, they put Maya in the front. You know Maya Danava. And they got the ability to disappear at will. Similarly, Yakshas and Rakshasas put Rudra in the front. You know, one of the expansions of Sadashiva is called Rudra. Rudra has 11 different forms. Ekadasha Rudra. So they put him in the front because Shiva is called Bhutanath. He's the leader of those Yakshas and Rakshasas. So putting him in the front, they got the liquor made of blood. Because they are known for eating flesh and blood. Our Yakshas and Rakshasas. And the snakes and scorpions, they put Takshaka, who is the leader, in the front. And they got poison in their mouth. So they have their poison in their teeth. Yeah. And the herbivores put Nandi in the front and they got grass. Because cows and bulls eat grass. So, and carnivores, they put lion in the front and they got flesh. And birds put Garuda in the front and they got fruits and insects. Mostly they eat fruits. There are some birds, like eagle if you see, they eat goats also. They eat goats. They can catch cat or kitten, or they can catch, even this rabbits, such kinds of creatures. They can lift and take them up. Some birds, but most of the birds' purpose is they eat only fruits. And the trees put banyan tree in the front. Banyan tree is the largest tree, and they got the sap. And the mountains, they put Meru Parvat in the front, and they got minerals like gold, silver, diamond, everything in their plateaus. They got like this. So why I showed you this? Because you find everybody in this world, needs different type of needs are present. Like for example, the carnivorous animals, they need flesh to eat. They can't eat grass. Now cow will die, but she will never eat flesh. You will see that. She will only eat grass. So specific type of food is arranged for everybody. Similarly, Devatas will only drink Soma juice. They will not drink liquor. Asuras will never drink Soma juice. They will want only liquor. You will see that they have specific requirements. Every jiva has. So all those things were provided by the earth. But you will see how earth provided these things, because one of the observations you must have made now, that they put someone very dear to a Lord in the front. That's one of the things. Correct, no? And they worshipped the person, they respected him. You please represent us. In the same manner, the scriptures say that we have to please the Lord to get favors from him. Otherwise, we cannot get any favor. And you will see this whole material nature is designed in such a way that if you very keenly make an observation, each item we can prove how it is created by God's glance. The sun and moon are his glance. Correct, no? Like when there is a Swati rain, it falls into a sipi. This sipi means this seashell. When seashell opens its mouth, when the Swati rain falls, it closes and goes inside the ocean and rotates, moves inside the ocean. Then later on, when the divers go into water and bring it out and they open it, what do you find? Pearls you find. Different type of pearls, Navaratnas. There is Vaidurya, there is Manikya, Maragada, like the different kinds of, different colors also. Different colors, very, very costly pearls you get inside. And that is coming from the rain drop only. coming from the raindrop. Similarly, the same rain, when it falls in the ground, you get grains. You get fruit-bearing trees grow also. They give fruits. And now if you see, the fruits have juices and the flowers have fragrances. Now, do you know where the fragrance comes from? Punyo gandha prativyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau. Krishna says, Punyo gandha means Punyo gandha prativyam cha. The fragrance program is kept in the earth. But when the seeds are put in the ground, then the fragrance is supplied to those seeds by the earth. From the earth only. Therefore, you find that one flower is rose fragrance, lotus fragrance, chameli or jasmine fragrance. So different type of fragrances are supplied by the earth. Now the fruit juices, who supplies that? That is supplied by the moon. He says that, where is that verse? He says, Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Krishna says that. Yat aditya kadam tejo jagad bhasayate khilam. Yat chandramasi yachagnau tat tejo viddimamakam. Rasohamapsu kaunteya pravasmi shashisuryo. Pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdakke paurusham rishu. Punyo gandha prativyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. Vedam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatamasmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Where is it coming in this? It doesn't come till now. Where he says, Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. He says, Somo bhutva. Somo means moon. Rasa atmakaha. It is the source of the juices. Sweet, salt, sour, pungent, astringent, bitter. 6 type of taste. Amazing juices, isn't it? Like what is pomegranate? It is astringent. You see there. Mango juice. It is sweet. Lemon. It is sour. Bitter gourd. It is bitter. You will find like that. So, sweet, salt, sour, pungent, astringent, and bitter. So these are all supplied by the moon. Nowadays, many people, they don't let the fruits be exposed to the moon. They quickly want to pluck the fruits and sell it. So they put it in chambers and they put smoke. So the green banana becomes yellow banana outside. But they didn't get exposure to the moon, so there is no proper juice. When you open it and eat it, chow, 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 no taste. That's because the exposure is not given. You should allow them to, therefore you should give them time under the moon, then it will be juicy, you will find. Sometimes in a village, a person throws some papaya seeds and he doesn't bother about it. On its own, papaya tree comes and then big papaya, under the moon, it receives a lot of juice. So sometimes from village, some people come and give me papaya. So when I cut it open, I find it is so juicy, because man did not interfere. That's why it is nice. The man interferes, it's spoiled. You will see that. So, therefore you will find sun and moon, these 2 eyes of the Lord is doing all the work. The sun produces the flowers, fruits, vegetables, cereals, spices, everything in the ground. And moon supplies the juices and medicinal properties also. He says that medicinal property also is supplied by the moon. There are more than 3,000 types of medicines given in Charak Samhita. If you read how the medicinal properties came, Jadi Butti we say, no? So that is there in Gita. What is that verse? Pushnami cha aushadhi sarvas. What is the word aushadhi? Pushnami cha aushadhi sarvas soma bhutva rasatmakaha. He says, what is that verse? Gama vishya cha bhutani dharayami ahamojasa. Pushnami cha aushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. He says that not only I supply 6 type of juices, I supply medicinal properties also in those medicinal herbs. So that means the juices and the medicinal properties, these are supplied by the moon, you can see. That means, is sun and moon under our control? Is it in the control of human beings or control of God? Yeah. Therefore, modern Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, he says that modern man is erecting big industries and opening clubs, brothels, liquor shops, slaughterhouses, and he is opening casinos, gambling casinos. He is trying to become happy with this artificial type of engagements, foolishly. These things are only increasing the miseries in society. Because of this, there is prostitution increasing. People are drinking liquor and losing their balance. People are eating slaughtered animals and becoming animalistic in nature also in their behavior. Because eating of the animals involves, the killing of the animal involves flight and fight tendency. When you try to kill an animal runs away, flight. And it cannot run, it fights. So fight means Rajoguna. Flight means Tamaguna. So Rajoguna, Tamaguna is causing the adrenaline to secrete in the animal's body. You eat it, you become exactly like that. When we eat those things. So modern day society, instead of depending on the gifts of nature, gifted by Krishna, man is foolishly indulging in creating artificial standards of enjoyment, Prabhupada says, in the cities. Like you can see the pubs. I remember when I used to go for college preaching in those days in 1995, that entire road in Pune, where I used to go, simple houses used to be there. We used to have programs. Now the entire road is full of pubs. They are selling all junk foods. There are so many type of shops for sense gratification. You can see that selling all kinds of non-vegetarian items and everything. Because times liquor shops are in the middle of the city nowadays. Big shops supplying liquor bottles. Even rich people go in cars and shamelessly purchase and drink. So, because people just don't know what is right, what is wrong. They have to be given the enlightenment from the scriptures. That's the most important thing. So, you can clearly distinguish between God's gifts and man-made chaos. You can make a comparison. Vedic prosperity versus modern man's scarcity. You can see. Like I just now I gave you the list. Prabhupada says, what is the need? Prabhupada says, God has given us fruits, flowers, cereals, spices, medicinal herbs. And also He has given us silk. He has given gold, silver, diamond. And from the cow, He has given us milk. By drinking the milk, you can nourish your brain tissues and study the scriptures. Cow is the mother and bull is the father, because bull can be used for plowing the field. So man can live a happy life. Just with 1 acre of land, your whole life's needs can be fulfilled. Whereas man has created the artificial standards of enjoyment in cities, he says. Compare nature's gift not only includes the eatables, it includes that which amounts to civilization like gold, silver, diamond, iron and all those things also. It also includes, as I told you, medicinal herbs for medicinal purposes also. It also includes things like silk. And all the materials you get in nature are enough to erect a house and live peacefully. But now man in the cities has created a facility for money making. You will find why all living beings are coming to big cities, because that's where they can make more and more money. Money is honey. They come for that. And they erect a 200-story building. They have made the street a busy street with traffic jam, with air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, mind pollution. And then slaughterhouses and clubs and casinos and gambling casinos for gambling, and brothels and prostitution centers, and cinemas and advertisements and television. And Later Prabhupada gives a long list. So compare these two things. God made this world so beautiful, man has made a chaos out of it. And the chaos has happened because of those three things which he said. What is it? Man has failed to put God in the center, rather he is putting himself in the center. Secondly, man is not dividing the wealth amongst all living beings. He wants to hoard the wealth. Hoard, H-O-A-R-D. Hoarding means stocking more and more wealth and not letting it be distributed. That's called greed, due to greed. So greedy man is hoarding wealth. And a man like Hiranyakashipu or Hitler or Alexander, they actually want to be the center of the world, the pivot of the world. So they put themselves in center without doing Sankirtana yagna for the Lord. And similarly, what the other thing Prabhupada said? Third thing he said, instead of restricting sense gratification, man is letting the senses loose. Right from young age, now 7th, 8th standard children are watching all dirty things in their mobiles. And that time only they get polluted when their minds are just like tender, very tender. When we were young, we got a very protected environment, both at home and in the school. And the temples were also active. Thousands and thousands of people would come to the temples and learn very good culture, hearing Ramayana, Mahabharata. Now modern day society is not awarding a protective environment for the children. Rather, it is a very volatile environment where the children, everything is in their fingertips, the whole sense gratification. And people are, you go in the train, everybody is with their smartphones. You go on the roads, even while crossing the road, people are seeing smartphone. And the cars and buses have to stop for them. You can see how modern day people have become, their eyes have become glued. Now there is something called as digital detox coming up. Many doctors are saying, you should have a digital detox. At least one day in a week, you fast from your smartphone. Keep it in locker and don't open it. At least one day in a week. Otherwise, your eyes will be spoiled. You are getting hypertension. Many diseases are coming due to excessive use of the digital use of this kind of things. So, and people are losing relationships with each other in the family and in friend circle. People are becoming envious of one another because globally we are connected now. Therefore, people are saying, I want to be like her, I want to be like him. So, the whole world is becoming a place of cutthroat, unhealthy competition. You can see that. And also, people are forgetting the ultimate goal of life to go back home, back to Godhead. So, 3 things only Prabhupada says, if you do, he says, life will be peaceful and prosperous. You want to know again, we will read that. Please repeat that. By regular performance of yagna, equal distribution of wealth, restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. See, by regular performance of yagna, he says, but even if you do that yagna, it is not enough because people have to study Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also. For example, now we are going and doing Harinam. If you do Harinam in Navadvip, many people offer obeisances. And even when we go in the Harinam in the morning, daily, 7 o'clock, we go in one thin lane, we go. When we are going into the thin lane, regularly I have seen some flowers petal, somebody is showering in one of the houses. They are feeling very happy that somebody is reminding us of God in the morning hours. They are showering. Regularly we have seen that when you go through that lane. But how many people are aware that this Harinam Sankirtana is coming? How are we supposed to respond? We are supposed to respond by raising the arms and singing and clapping. There are some people who do that. We have seen that. There are some people who are going in the bike, they stop the bike and watch with amazement. They hear the holy name, they repeat the holy name. Some of them fold the palms and thank and appreciate. So, because they have some good sanskaras, knowledge. If they don't have knowledge, they may wonder, who are these fellows making noise? It's just because they're ignoramus. They're completely ignorant. Therefore, even though we have to regularly perform yajna, along with this, some prasadam distribution should be there. Some small booklets should be distributed. Some lectures should be held. So that's very important. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while giving instruction to Nityananda and Haridas, very beautifully he has given instruction. Shuno shuno Nityananda, shuno Haridas, sarvatra amara ajna karoho prachar. Prati gare gare giya koro yehi bhiksha. Bolo Krishna, bhajo Krishna, karo Krishna shiksha. 3 things you should do with people, he says. Bolo Krishna means make them chant Hare Krishna. Bhajo Krishna means teach them how to do puja for Krishna. That we show in the temple. Pujari worships, people get inspired by the deities, then they also bring deities in their homes to worship Krishna. And Karo Krishna Shiksha means teach Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. See, 3 different things clearly Mahaprabhu says. Make people chant Hare Krishna, study Gita Bhagavatam. Because when you study Gita Bhagavatam, you will know the philosophy. Then your chanting will be more effective. And the puja will be even more effective. You know whom are you bowing down to? Who is the personality? Otherwise, our our worship or chanting will be very superficial without study of the Gita and Bhagavatam. But these three things he says you should do for others. But for yourself, what you should do? Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran says. You should consider Krishna your mother, Krishna your father, Krishna your only wealth. That should be our internal state of consciousness. There's one beautiful verse in South they used to sing. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Very simple meaning, right? Tvameva mata, you are my mother, you are my father, you are my relative, you are my friend, you are my education, you are my wealth, you are be all and end all for me, Krishna. You are everything for me. That should be the consciousness of a devotee, internally. And externally, what you should do? Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna, Shiksha. Make people chant holy names and worship Krishna and distribute the knowledge of Gita Bhagavatam. So what should be internal state of consciousness? What should we externally do? These instructions are given. And that is actually the meaning of regular performance of yagna. Every one of us should do in our own capacity. Like brahmacharis, you go to the schools, colleges, companies, homes and give programs. And grihasthas, you organize program in your house or harinams in your area. Matajis, they can do program for children and girls and ladies. And anybody who can go and put a book table in some temples and distribute Prabhupada books, they should distribute. So in this way, we can bring about a change in this world. Secondly, the equal distribution of wealth. Therefore, Prabhupada says that 50% of one's wealth should be used in devotional activities. Prabhupada writes in many of his purports, the whole idea is what? How do you use it? Make an altar at home, worship the Lord, cook prasad, distribute to the people, and purchase Bhagavad Gita, subsidize it and reach it out to the people, Bhagavad Gita or other books. In this way, or take all family members for a yatra. So, in this way, the wealth should be fruitfully, spiritually employed. One amazing thing you will find in the Vedic culture, that devotional activities are accompanied by distribution of food also, prasad also. You will see that. Like anybody joins our Sunday program, after the program, naturally there is prasad. Any festival day, they come and attend the lecture and kirtan, following that there is prasad, so you will find that. So therefore you will find the spiritual, material welfare follows spiritual welfare like a shadow, it is said. And also if somebody comes to the temple, meets devotees, he becomes a devotee, then gets connection and people immediately absorb them in some job also. People get, oh, he's a good boy, he's a devotee. Everybody wants a devotee. Like one of our boys was working in Pune. He earned such a good name in the company. So the boss called him and said, you know, do you belong to some organization? Then he saw his Kantimala, he said, ISKCON. So can you get some more Kantimala wearing boys? You can get some more. Can you bring 5 more we want? Because you earned a good name. When you become a man of good character, responsible, dependable, reliable, obedient, respectful, then immediately material welfare is taken care by the Lord. Yoga Kshemam Aham Yaham. So in this way, the entire world can be made peaceful. And restriction of sense gratification is important. Modern day society is characterized by, no sense control. The more we let the senses loose, we become more and more animalistic. The more you restrain the senses and engage them in Lord's service, you become a person of character. Then your vichara shakti, dharana shakti, viveka buddhi, and ekagrata chitta, and character, everything increases. You can hold remember a lot of information that you study from the scriptures and apply it at the right time. Viveka buddhi will come. What is right, what is wrong. Dharana shakti, viveka buddhi, vichara shakti, and analyzing, contemplating, these powers will increase when you don't allow the mind and senses should not be like a flood which has no direction. Mind and senses should be kept like a dam. Keep it like a dam and then use it only when needed. Don't misuse the senses. Use the senses, purify the senses by engaging them in Krishna service. Therefore, very simple match formula. You all can repeat after me. We'll conclude with that match formula, okay? M for mercy, A for austerity, T for truthfulness, C for cleanliness, H for holy name. M for mercy means what we should give up? Meat eating. If you give up meat eating, you are merciful. A for austerity, what we should give up? Intoxication. Smoking, drinking and all that. Austerity means controlling the senses and not letting them loose. And T for truthfulness, what we should give up? Gambling. And C for cleanliness, what we should give up? Yeah, if somebody is illicitly connected, they become polluted and they indulge in nasty activities. So that means 4 things we have to give up and 4 things we have to follow. What we should follow? Mercy, austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness we should follow. And 4 things we have to give up. Illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, we have to give up. And all this is very easy when we chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Pruthu Maharaj performed yagna and then the earth became ready to yield everything. That is required for everybody. What is going to be spoken in the subsequent verses you will hear from tomorrow. Earth produced everything that is needed. So all prosperity comes by pleasing the Lord. Yasmin tushtam, jagat tushtam. And that is told by, Kunti Maharani. Ime janapada sviddhaha supakvaushadi verudaha vanadrinadi udanvanto hedante tava vikshitai. By tava vikshitai, by Krishna's glance, all prosperity will be created in this world. When Krishna smiles, nature smiles. Because of the verse number 9.10 in Bhagavad Gita. What is that verse? Maya adhyakshena prakriti. By Krishna's supervision, Prakriti is acting. If you make him smile, nature will smile. If you make Krishna upset, then nature will be upset also. Prabhupada says like a husband sitting in the main hall, some guests are coming to the house, he turns into the kitchen and then shows some signal by moving his eyebrows. Immediately wife understands. She cooks some snacks and brings and she serves everybody after that. Similarly, Krishna is looking at the material nature and saying, my children have come to this world, provide them grains, fruits, cereals and everything. She is providing. But if we are not pleasing the Lord, we are doing naughty things, then the nature will withhold those things. Vasundhara, dhara means one who holds. She will not release it because she doesn't want us to misuse these things. She wants us to use it in glorification of the Lord, for which we all have come here. Actually, by glorifying the Lord, we get purified, we go back to our original position from where we have come. So when she sees that you are misusing it, like imagine a father is giving pocket money to boy, 5 rupees. If he's smoking, then the father or mother will not give him. If he's using it for the proper purpose, they will give. As simple as that. So these purports are repeating one point. You will see that yagna should be performed for Lord's pleasure. Don't act whimsically. Don't act independently. Act according to Lord's desire. One program I asked, there were some 500-600 people. I asked, how many of your parents you want your children to be completely obedient to you? Everybody raised a hand. Some of them raised both hands also. Then I told them, in the same manner, Krishna wants you to obey him. They said, oh, that we never thought, they were saying. Are you reading Bhagavad Gita? They said, have Bhagavad Gita, but we are not reading. Now you start now. Are you chanting Hare Krishna? No, Japamala is there, we are not chanting. Chant now. Are you worshipping Krishna? Yes, we have Laddu Gopal, we have kept inside the bureau. Bring him out. I said, you worship the Lord, you read Bhagavad Gita, you chant, then your children, you can expect them to follow. If you don't set an example, how do you expect them to follow? Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki,